The back rooms. What are back rooms? One of those horrible dreams that many people have had is that of the back rooms. A nightmare in which people find themselves locked in some kind of warehouse or room that is totally empty and only lit by fluorescent lamps. It can seem like a dead end, like a labyrinth filled with more of the same rooms with a musty smell. People who find themselves in a dream like this desperately look for a way out, but they can't find it until they wake up. The concept of the back rooms arose when an anonymous user commented on a photo on 4chan that was part of a thread of disturbing sights in 2019. It wasn't verified if it was real or just a creepypasta, but with this story, many people began to believe in this place and to dream of it. You might be in a back room if after sleeping you wake up like you would in real life, but you find yourself somewhere different. In a strange room with a yellowish wall color. Its floors damp and covered in a carpet that has a disgusting smell. Fluorescent lights illuminate the room, and an out-of-place noise reverberates throughout the air. This is known as Level 0, where most people wake up. People allege that there are several levels to the back rooms. Level 0 is where the game begins. This is the room where most people have been in. This place is a labyrinth, where each path will take you to the beginning, with elements in it slightly changing. Nobody knows the way out, but luckily, it is the least dangerous level. To get out of this level, you just have to walk and walk and walk until you find any exit. It can be a door, some stairs, an elevator, etc. But beware, you must be careful, because it can either take you back to the beginning or take you to the higher levels. Whatever you do, if you hear any strange sound, do not approach it and stay away, since in that place you will not encounter any humans, but entities of unknown origin. These entities have strange or repulsive forms, but they can also take human form. To avoid them, just ignore them. Don't look at them, and if you see one, just turn around very quickly and go to the opposite side slowly. There are several exit points, so it's easy to get away. But don't make any noise, because if they know you are there, they can chase you and catch you. And also, never turn around to face them. With that said, let's go over the remaining levels. Level 1. If you are lucky enough to get out of Level 0, then you will arrive at a location that is a large, sprawling warehouse that features concrete floors and walls, exposed rebar, and low-hanging mist with no source. The fog often forms into condensation, creating puddles on the floor in inconsistent areas. Here, the light fails constantly. It can go out for seconds, minutes, or even hours.
Someone there?
But what you should worry about is your environment. The entities become more dangerous, from skinless dogs to humanoid figures. They mostly appear where there is no light, and what you can do to avoid these entities is to hide, not make noise, and wait for them to go away. Remember that if you come across one, run or hide and never turn around, since they notice the presence of people easier. You can leave here through doors, stairs, or elevators, but in any case, make sure that it feels safe and light, as this ensures that it's the correct path to the next level. Level 2. This level is also where people wake up directly, like Level 0. Still, don't celebrate because you skipped the first 2 levels. Here, everything starts to get more difficult. This level consists mostly of dark gray concrete maintenance tunnels stretching for millions and millions of miles. The walls are lined with pipes and occasionally vents poking out of them, often containing a thick, vicious black liquid. Doors can sometimes be found, but most are locked or lead to dead ends. These rooms often have shelves with a random assortment of objects, occasionally computers, lining them. The temperature is constantly changing within the corridors. If the heat rises with no signs of abating, go back and take another path. If you happen to see an apparently human entity, run back and take another path. The entities here are more dangerous, and it is easier for you to run into one of them. So here, you must be hiding often, and if you see a human, do not approach him. It's a trick, and you may never awake again. Level 3. If you are very lucky, you will go to the 3rd level, but from here, not many people stay as they die in the previous levels or wake up. This place is a series of long, dark, twisting corridors that function the same as level 0. They all consist of randomly segmented rooms, which have no particular pattern, and are extremely noisy with noises that sound like they are coming from disturbing machinery. The corridors are very narrow and closed. The walls are made up of dusty brown bricks, usually covered in segments of copper pipes and mechanical components that make a horrible sound and can be made louder or quieter. The floors are made of an even dustier gray tiled floor, while the ceiling is made entirely of metal. It also has many electrical rooms and objects. There is not an exact way out of the backrooms. You just have to be lucky so that the universe wants to take you out, or that you wake up. But there is no way to do it from there, so the only thing you can do when you find yourself in a back room is to move forward. From Reddit. Posted by One Time Rocket 13. Titled, The Screams Behind the Doors. Every so often, I'll end up in the back rooms, and I'll find myself wandering down endless halls that look like they were pulled straight out of hotels. Just like hotel hallways, there are usually a uniform setup of doors lining them. Sometimes behind these doors, screams and cries can be heard, but the doors are always locked tight, so I'm never able to get into them. One time, though, I was ripped out of reality and forced back into the back rooms while walking home from school, so I had a very thick textbook with me. I wandered around for a while until I found one of these hotel-like segments, and I searched for a door where I heard crying coming from behind it. It took me a while, but I eventually found a door with what sounded like light crying emanating from beyond it. It sounded like how someone cries when they just got a phone call telling them that their mother died, and that they're trying to hold back the tears, but they come out anyway. So, I did what any sane person would do. I took out my textbook and started going at the doorknob. As I hit it, a quiet ringing noise started to emanate from the knob, and every time I hit it, the ringing got louder. Still, I was determined to see what was beyond the door, so I kept at it. I kept hitting and bashing and hitting the knob until the ringing sound drove out all sense of thought. At that point, I couldn't even remember why I was there. The only thing that I could think of was destroying that knob. But the more I hit it, the more my arms hurt, the more the book began to break, and the more the ringing began to take over my psyche. Then, finally, the knob came off. The ringing stopped, and I could think again. The only things that I could hear were my heart and the crying on the other side. I put my aching arm on the door and I pushed it open. The door slowly creaked open to reveal a blank, black space. It had that ominous feeling of a dark room in your house that you have been in countless times, but you have an irrational fear of it for no reason. I went against my instincts and walked in, surprised to find that there was a solid ground. Thinking back on it, I probably imagined the solid ground part. I kept walking in, slowly and cautiously, taking note that my footsteps made no noise on the ground. Then I realized that the crying was still going on, but I couldn't find where it was coming from. I turned around to look back, and as soon as I did, the door, it instantly closed. The crying got more and more intense. It went from a stifling cry to an out-of-control sob to incomprehensible screaming. As it grew in magnitude, more voices joined in on the chorus of distress. The cries were coming from every direction. Some sounded very far off, and others sounded like they were right in my ear, but no matter where I looked, I couldn't see anything. Then it happened. You know how when you go out of bounds in a video game, and you look back at the world, and you can see through the walls in places? Well, imagine that, but combined with the black hole scene from Interstellar. I could suddenly see millions of different paths of the back rooms, and I could see all the people within it. I saw people that were lost, crying out for help, trying to get out. I saw people being attacked by countless malformed, unimaginable entities, begging for a savior or an end. I saw the people that had found no escape from the back rooms and were driven mad by the incomprehensible, ever-changing, infinite, mind-bending spaces that exist in the back rooms, screaming at the walls as they wandered. Then it ended. It felt both nearly instantaneous and like several years' worth of time had passed. I don't know if I'm worse for the experience or not, but I can say that I found what cries behind the doors. It is the pain and suffering of someone wandering the back rooms. Someone who just wants to go home and be done with this. It's their horrifying existence in a non-reality where their distress lasts forever, and there is nothing that they can do to stop it. Take this story as a cautionary tale. Do not try to get into these rooms like I did. Some people just aren't mentally strong enough to come out of that okay like I did. If you find one and you take interest in it, just sit down next to it and listen to their cries. Do not try to intervene. I hope you all take this to heart so you can save yourself the experience. Sadly, I have to end this here, as I hear someone crying in the next room. Have a nice day or night, and remember, stay safe. So, what do you think? Do you think backrooms are real? Is it a parallel dimension we have access to when we're dreaming? Or is it just a dream of fantasy? Let us know in the comments below. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Good night.